All right, let's talk about some goals for 2024. This is also going to be like sort of, it's not exactly the day, but this is like my booktube anniversary as well. I don't feel like I talk about this on the channel, but when I started 4 years ago, it was in 2020. So yeah, 4 years ago. One of my New Year's resolutions, maybe my only one, was to make a booktube channel. It was a great decision. I really was glad I did it. But that means that like basically the New Year's is always my booktube anniversary because I think my first video went up on like the 6th or the 7th. I think I filmed it on the 4th, that sort of thing. And don't ask why my brain can keep these numbers. I don't know. But regardless, it's also when I like to look into like my channel and what I want to see in the next coming year, what's working for me, what doesn't, where do I want to stretch myself. So we're going to do book goals, we're going to do channel goals, we're going to do life goals. I will kind of chime in about what did and didn't work in my goals last year, because if you know, I make goals and intention videos, but they are not these rigid things that stress me out. They are kind of guideposts, and I try to check in, usually for sure, midway through the year, sometimes every quarter, and be like, what is working for me? What is a priority? Have my priorities shifted? Did this thing that I thought would work, is it working? Because sometimes I put things, and you'll see that here when we talk about the books, I'll put things down because I think they will work. I think they will help me achieve my goal. But what if they don't? So then I gotta get rid of them and try something else, right? So starting with the books, I did look at last year's video. What I largely remember is that last year I read too many books and I was having a bad reading year and I wanted to have a better reading year. And so I was hoping if I read less books, that would help. And I was kind of right. This year I read 124 books and my goal was like 120 books. So spot on. The previous year I read 141 books, which is too much for me. Just for me. That means I'm spending too much time reading and not enough time balancing that with other things. Like staring at the wall time. Like I need that. Like I need movies, TV shows, video games. Like I need all of that to balance reading, because if I'm always reading, I don't miss reading, and then I don't like get excited to read. Like there's, balance, right? Balance. And it seems like I can accomplish a fairly good balance with 120-ish books. So that's the same set point we're going to do for next year. It's about 100 to 130 books. We'll say 120 because I think that's what'll happen, but my minimum is 100. That's like what I really would like to not get below. If it happens, it happens. I don't really know what's in store this year. I thought I was prepared for the chaos of 2023, and I was very, very wrong. Very wrong. But 2024 should have less big life changes. We'll see. We'll see. So going with the theme of, all right, try and make sure reading is still like challenging but joyful. I just want to say it out loud. So when I watch this video next year, like, I want you to try and balance, Angela, reading challenges and reading books because you like to read. Because I do think I was flirting with that line hard this past year. I did a lot of challenges. 2 of them were Goodreads challenges. Those are probably the bigger ones. And I was good to myself, and I wanted to read all the Hugo books, and I realized, no, you won't have a good time doing that. You don't need to do that. Don't. And so that was a good decision, and I read the Ursula K. Le Guin books, and that was super fun. So the challenges are serving me. I'm finding books I wouldn't have found otherwise. I think they are fun videos for me to make. I think it's good to do that, because then it really reminds me when I read a book that I really like, that it's good. But I do need that balance, because that was the big thing for me this year. It's like, oh, if I have really great books, I don't care that I'm reading kind of okay books. It's when I'm only reading okay books that I'm just like, oh my goodness, there needs to be some good art for me out there somewhere. Where is it? So that's just something. It's not a number goal. It's just vibes. I want that to work out. A number vibey one, I'm not putting a number to it because I think that won't work. And I've known this for years. I have the best time reading when I'm not reading just one genre. And so what I mean by that is like some of my favorite books of this past year were horror. Every time I like switched it up and picked up a horror book, I was so happy. So I need to make sure I'm not just reading fantasy. I didn't read nearly enough science fiction last year. Like I haven't done my stats video, but I know for a fact because I tried to make a top 10 science fiction books list and that was not happening. So need to read more science fiction. Need to read more horror. One book thing that I am putting a number goals to, because there was one of my bigger life changes with the move, is my local book club. I haven't found a new one yet, and that's where I read historical and general and literary fiction. So I want to make sure I'm still reading those. Maybe not 12 a year like I did for that book club, but 6 to 8. I want to still be picking those up because I like doing that. Some of my favorite books from last year were not genre fiction. And so I want to make sure I'm not losing that just because I don't have that obligation anymore. Because equally, a lot of those books were my worst books of the year. For better or worse, general fiction, literary fiction, they get emotions out of me. So need to keep trying to put those on the list. The only other number goal-ish that I have is I have a physical TBR. I'm going to get a physical TBR, guys. It's going to be so fun. And it's going to go like right over here next to my reading chair. I'm so excited. But I do like the size of my physical TBR. I don't want it to get too big. I don't mind if my collection grows. That's totally cool. But the physical TBR, I want to try and get through it and not necessarily be like I need to read X books off my physical TBR each month. But what I want to say is I want to at least read a couple chapters of 2 of my TBR books each month. And what I mean by that is not necessarily committing to reading the book, but I have these books and I don't even know their tone, what I feel like. And as I'm trying to become a mood reader, I want to like read the book. And if I'm in the mood for that, go for it, read it, finish it, right? And if I'm not, but I still like it, be like, okay, you should pick this up when you're in X mood. And if I really am not vibing with it, then maybe it shouldn't exist in my physical TBR anymore. And that's what I'm hoping this will work out for me, is like it helps me figure out when I might want to read stuff when I'm in the mood for, or just push me to read them sooner, because a lot of the times these are just mysteries. And I'm pointing this way because they're in my closet right now. But they're just these mystery books and I don't know the vibe. I know a little bit about them, but I don't know the writing style. I don't know how it's going to work. And I just need to push myself to at least pick it up. And I think I got this inspiration because I finally did read Theft of Swords and War Child, which were languishing on my TBRs forever, not even physical TBR. But then when I finally at least read a chapter or 2, I was at least solidified in being like, yeah, I do want to read these. Maybe not right now, but I do want to read these. And I thought that was satisfying to me, because there have been many a book I've put on a TBR where when I pick it up, it's like, no, I don't. Nope, this was a mistake. We need to move on. So those are the only like number of books type things. And then these last 2 bookish related goals are things I'm going to try. Again, to increase joy. I want to have a set time limit for physical reading time that feels like work. I don't want to read for more than 30 minutes a day when it feels like work. Then I want to force myself, if I still want to read, to pivot to anything else that is fun. Because I can read almost any book if I read 30 minutes a day, or I can get the audiobook. This does not include audiobook time, because that can just happen in the background when you're doing stuff. This is like, I am dedicating my time solely to reading, whether that's immersion reading, whether that's physically reading, whether that is just, I guess, doing an audiobook while doing like a puzzle and not chores or something. But when the time that I'm spending is just for reading, only 30 minutes of that a day can be feeling like a chore, because that's not what I want reading to be. But I still, like I said, trying to balance the challenges I like to do and joy. I think that'll be good, because I'm finding myself even today on January 1st being like, oh, I really want to read this book that's really challenging. I just started like Reaper's Gale today, and it's a really challenging book for me, especially because I haven't read Bone Hunters in a year and a half, and that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I do not recommend. Regardless, here I am. And like every time I sit down to read, I'm like, oh, I should be reading this. But it's also not fun. Like, it's not like a flow, like, yeah. So I need to also be like, Angela, you have other books on your TBR that might be more fun for you, and you should pick those up now. You've spent your time on Malazan today. Your brain is done. Move on. So I think that's where that comes from. And mental health, which we're going to talk about later in this video. So I guess heads up for that. I will warn you when we talk about mental health. But because of my mental health and where it's been, my attention span is even worse than it usually is. So because of that, when I choose to sit down and read, and like a lot of my goals this year, like I said, it's about intention. It's about trying to make sure I'm doing things with intention or not doing things with intention. Just recognizing when I'm doing stuff. So when I want to read, making sure that I have my phone put away so I can at least, and this is such a small goal, but I feel like I'm telling you, my attention span is just rubbish. I am only going to read for 10 minutes. And hopefully that gives me the momentum to keep wanting to read. But to at least be like, oh, you're going to read? Well, then you need to be only reading and really trying to sink into this in 10 minutes, because that's my issue. I'm having trouble sinking into things because my attention span is just like, nope, it's not happening. So those are my book-related goals. Video game-related, because I think I did mention that I did finish a video game last year. I want to finish Horizon Forbidden West this year. I was playing that a lot, and then I went to my wedding in July, and I haven't picked it up since, which is ridiculous because I love that game. I think about playing that game all the time, but I toxically want to start it over. So I would like to finish it without starting it over, but I'll take anything at this point. I did turn it on the other day, but I didn't do anything. So I just love a tutorial section of a video game. Like, what can I say? I love starting things. So toxic. So that's the video game thing. In terms of channel stuff, I think I do still want to do some author interviews if I can get those organized. I did like doing that last year. That was a big goal of last year, and I did it. Super fun. If you haven't seen them, I have 3 author interviews on the channel with Ken Liu, Karen Lord, and M.A. Carrick, who are Marie Brennan and Alice Helm. Loved it. I loved doing that, and I'm not against doing that, even though they perform so poorly. Like, you can't even imagine. You can't even imagine. I, on average, get like 1,000 views per video, maybe 2,000 if it's like a really buzzy video, like top 10 books or something like that. These get like hundreds, not even 500. Like, it's interesting. Like, and eventually they do grow. Like the Ken Liu one, now at least. I'm glad people are actually watching that because that's mostly spoiler free and it's so cool. He is so smart. I love all of them. Regardless, I do still think I want to. I just need to reach out to authors, have time. I want to read the works before I do it. It's a whole thing. But I really enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed all the reading I did and preparations for those. I love talking to authors. So I want to continue doing that. Otherwise, I don't know if I have any large video goals. I still only want to do 2 videos a week unless I feel the urge to do 3 because I think 2 is still like my reasonable pace of doing videos nowadays. I just want to make sure I'm making videos that I want to be making. Especially, and this is just behind the curtain YouTube stuff, this time of year, you go from like the highs of November and December where everyone's watching the stuff because it's the videos they want to watch, like they're the videos I want to watch, and you're getting more money because like you actually have reasonable AdSense. And then the minute like after Christmas, it's like, oh, it's the shitty ads again. Like, and if you watch ads for other content creators, it's like, why are these 2-minute fitness ads happening? They are really bad. They don't pay a lot. Like, it's just astronomical, and people are watching less. So it's like the serotonin that you get in November, December gets quickly turned off in January, which is unfortunate. And like, we all do it because we love it, but like, it's hard. It's hard to go from like so much engagement and so much like reward for work to like, and now you have to do it because you love it, because there's, that's what we're here for, which is fine. But that also means my intention is like, don't like, do the videos you want to do, whatever that means. And I love doing my Friday reads, so those always stay. I like TBRs. I love doing TBRs. I need to figure out my solution for the recent release roundups because I love making them, but I hate how long it takes me to make them. They legit take me like 5 to 10 hours to produce altogether, and that's just not sustainable every month. I am very busy, so I need to figure out what to do. I might make it more interactive in terms of like trying to crowdsource what books people want me to look into. Maybe it's less books that I need to do. Maybe I shouldn't do it every monthly. Maybe I should do it every quarter. I don't know. I do love doing that video. I think it's a great idea, but I think the reason why we don't see it a lot is because it's a lot of work. It is so much work, especially because I don't want to just like only be pulling from my circle. I want to be pulling from other creators, especially creators who maybe we don't see as often because all they do are standalone reviews, and those don't perform well on the internet. It is what it is. Like standalone movie reviews, great. Standalone book reviews, no. Don't know why. It just is what it is. So yeah, so I have to figure out a solution for that. But the big thing I think I want to focus on this year is Patreon. And a lot of this is inspiration from other people with their Patreons, like Steph at Bookish Steph. She's amazing. If you haven't looked at her channel, love her channel. But she started doing a few readathons this year with Patreon. And I know other people have done this. This is not like the most unique idea in the world. But I haven't really been doing readathons with BookTube for a while because that was just something that was too overwhelming for me and the number of books that I read a month. Every time I did it, even when I won, it wasn't a good reading month. So I'm like, okay, this is not serving me. But maybe doing like, either a month-long read-along with patrons or a weekend readathon, I think those could be really fun. And so I kind of want to at least try doing one of those this year, especially if there's interest. Who knows? But like, that's something I've been playing along with. I also have been doing more vlogs over there, and I want to continue to do that because vlogs are things I like to do, but I don't like to do them enough to make them like a staple of the channel. I'm just not going to be the BookTube vlogging girl. Like, there are people who do that, who specialize in that, who are great. It's just not me and my vibe, and it's too stressful. I like sit-down videos for this, but I like vlogging. I think it's creatively really fun, and I know people like seeing the day in the life. So lifestyle vlogging, maybe thematic book vlogs or stuff like that. So I want to try and do more of that. Continue doing more sprints. We do sprints about twice a month. And lately, because of life, they've been very like, sprints happening right now with like no lead up. And I think there'll always be a sprint like that because sometimes I just don't know when I'm in the mood for it or when I have time. But I want to try and like kind of get, I don't know, a tradition of like maybe the second Tuesday or something like that. I don't know. I have to figure it out. I'll probably poll to see availability and be like, okay, we sprint every month on this day, and who can come comes. And that's just like a thing we can all look forward to. I kind of like that idea. I just need to like figure it out. So those are like my Patreon ideas. And I really like how we switched to the variety of books we will be buddy reading. So hopefully that everyone has something they like. Like if they like buddy reading short stories, we do that once a quarter. If they want to be in part of the series, we're going to do 2 series read-alongs. We'll always have a standalone book, or at least I'll attempt to make it a standalone book every quarter. So, you know, and I'll try and either do spoiler review content or spoiler-free reviews if that's what people want, or we do live shows. Like, I think there'll be a lot of fun stuff there, but that's definitely more, I'm feeling it as we go. So every year, I just want to like do a little more with that because I really love the community we're forming. It's a great group of people. And it allows me to like do stuff that I don't feel comfortable doing on the main channel, especially as it gets bigger. I really do love that every year the main channel is successful in my mind. And actually, we've kind of met the point where like, if it gets better than this, awesome. But this is kind of when I started the channel. It's like, I would love it if I posted a video and it gets about 1,000 views. That would make the process feel worthwhile always. Because I know some people say they just do it to do it, but like I did always want people to see this stuff. Like I made something for people to see it, and it feels like 1,000 views is a really nice level of engagement. I don't think I'll ever be one of those channels that gets the tens of thousands of views, and if I did, I don't know if it would be fun for me anymore. So I think we're at a good balance. So I like how the channel's going in that regard. So those are all Patreon stuff, and then life stuff. My main life resolution for the year is working on giving myself the tools and the space and the time to work on my mental health. Because it's been bad. It's been really bad. It's been improving since some life stresses have exited, but it's, like we talked about earlier in this video, it's affected my focus a lot. It's mostly anxiety. I get both depression and anxiety, but it's mostly anxiety that usually plagues me, and kind of can lead to these hyperfixation rabbit holes where I just like can't stop Googling about this thing that's bad. So there are like 3 things that I have written down. It's more like 4. So I purchased this book, and I talked about it on a live show with my patrons, it's a workshop book, and you work on it, and it's kind of one of those cognitive behavioral therapies, although it's not cognitive, it's I think didactic. It's DBT, not CBT. Regardless, basically it's supposed to help you stop the spiral and make, you know, plans and like think things through. And I like actionable steps. I want to work through that workbook this year. So by the end of the year, I want to have worked through all of it, which I need to like set aside time, maybe every day to do that. I don't have like a quantifiable thing, but if in 3 months I have not done the first half of the workbook, or at least the first quarter, I need to be more. That's when I'll say, okay, we didn't give you, you have to work on it X days a week, but now we have to say you have to work on it X days a week because your self-accountability system is not working. So that's my head goal there. January is always yoga month, and yoga, I don't do it as often as I should, but it's always really good for my mental health. It's good for my physical health too, which is nice. But the mental health, the controlled breathing really works. Like if you ever need something free and easy to help you, controlled breathing can do wonders for anxiety, and yoga really helps me do that. And stretching is really nice. And, you know, when you increase the heart rate, I feel better. Like I feel like I've accomplished something, and I'm someone who likes to be able to, especially in a world where there are things I can't accomplish and I can't control, when I have a to-do list and I like can check something off, yoga works for that. So I always do the 30 days. It's with Yoga with Adrienne, who I'm sure you know about because she has like 12 million subscribers. So I do that in January, and then I want to keep that up. I want to keep doing it 2 times a week or 3 times a week. Similarly, a big life change that happened is I used to live in Boston, and I walked all the time. I did not have to have a step goal. Like I walked a lot for my commute. But now I don't commute as much. I have a lovely neighborhood to walk in, but like I'm not good at walking without a purpose. So I want to make sure that I'm walking, and also I have access to an elliptical at my mom's house. So I want to make sure I'm incorporating those cardio in, just because walking is generally good for me. Walking or light running, you know, stuff like that. None of this is like with a goal of losing weight. My weight goals are always just maintenance, like just keep it as close to the same as possible. A lot of what I consider exercise goals, I have more for different health things. Like, I mean, working out is really good for immune system. I would love that, especially because I'm teaching and I'm going to be exposed to a lot of stuff. I would love to keep the immune system up. It's really good for heart health, right? So I want to keep those things in. And then the last like health goal related thing is I should in this quarter find a therapist. I really should. I have a healthcare plan that allows me to find one in network for like a reasonable price. Especially if none of these other things I do help. I need to do that. So that's my main real life goal for the year, is like serve the mental health. Try to get it back to a baseline that is sustainable, because we have not been in a sustainable place. We've just been in survival mode, and yeah, I'm leaving that in 2023, and I need more tools to handle whatever surprises 2024 gives me, because I'm sure there will be a few. But that's this long-winded, chatty goals video. What are your reading, life, hobby goals that you have that you want to share with me down below? If you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here. Oh, I don't know. Oh, leave a book, because we talked about books. That's such a lame emoji. I'm so sorry. If you can think of a better emoji, go with it. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.